As you all know, we've experienced the strikes these last couple of days. I did have 5 minutes to fill here. I've written nothing. I've basically been trying to get you all here today, so I'm going to move myself off the stage very quickly. The next 3 sessions, thank you, Nicholas, and I thought we were friends. Not anymore. The next 3 sessions, as Greg mentioned, are going to focus on the 3 topics that you told us that you wanted us to champion in 2023. Sustainability, trust in media, and talent. One of the things that we do want to champion is new organisations and businesses that are doing good things around those subjects. So you may have seen outside the City shuttle bus. That was not just a bus for me to get home today because I'm going to struggle. That's a company that's doing good things. Please do go and have a chat with them, and we're keen to support them. But we're also very delighted that our partners here today, Clear Channel, Ozone, and Mail Metro Media, are supporting these 3 key topics. So, first of all, we are going to kick off with sustainability. This is, will sustainability be the core advertiser focus in 2023? I'm going to invite Olya Sagar from the Media Leader up to the stage, and she's going to introduce the people she'll be having a chat to about this. Please give them a welcome.
You want to sit then? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to this event. I know that it was a bit difficult for some, so I appreciate that this room is very full. I'm Olya Sagar, I'm a reporter at the Media Leader, and I'm your chair for this session, and I'm delighted to be joined by Olya Dyachuk, Data-Driven Media Director at Heineken, and Aimee McKay, Client Partnership Director at Clear Channel UK, to talk about how sustainability can be a focus in advertising in 2023, and arguably how it should be a focus. So thank you both for joining me. Let's start off, what does sustainability mean to your businesses? Olya, if you wouldn't mind starting, and just let us know how you're integrating it into Heineken's business.
Try to be quick and punchy, because I'm sure people have a lot of information to take. Without bragging, probably, I'd say that I was quite surprised joining Heineken from agency world over a year ago to see that responsibility, that includes sustainability, diversity, and inclusion, was a part of the global strategy for the business, and it was cascaded throughout, from Netherlands to every market in the world, and that we pledged by 2040 to be carbon neutral in our full value chain. What that means is that for us in the UK as a business, we absolutely very easily kind of trying to apply to supply chain and production, and that's what everyone thinks about when it talks about sustainability. But we also were given an opportunity to test for the last year and a half our efforts when it comes to media. And sustainability means for our business everything. So every element and every team has to live and breathe it. And we are working on it. It's not like everybody is perfect. Trust me, no one is perfect. But that means everyone knows it's on the back of their mind, and it's a pillar of our corporate strategy that drives the behavior.
Mm-hmm. And Aimee, for Clear Channel, is it similar, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you've kind of said it all. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, and to be honest, we align incredibly well with Heineken because we share that same sort of ethos around it, which is it has to touch every single part of the business. So, at Clear Channel, our purpose as a business across all of our European businesses is to be a platform for brands and a platform for good. So it is right in the DNA of what we do. And that ensures that everybody in the business understands, what do we stand for? What is it we're setting out to achieve? And what that roadmap looks like to be a carbon net zero business.
I think in some of our discussions before this panel, and also with other people here, like integrating sustainability, having everyone has a stake in it, like how diversity can't just be relegated to a HR department, it can't just be relegated to who's in charge of ESG, it's got to be everyone involved. Has your approach to sustainability changed over the last year? And you were talking, Olya, about how no one's perfect, but do you have any best practice or any lessons you've learned that you can share with this audience?
Yeah, I suppose just like in anything that you start with testing and learning. So we put our efforts into various areas. So we've done a lot with Clear Channel and out of home. We've done quite a bit in digital, and we spent a year and a half of just pretty much doing that, just looking to what's happening, what are the technologies out there, what are the capabilities out there that we can test out. In parallel, which I think is quite important, we made sure that we take our agency on the journey with us. So we've built a framework, which is Heineken Collective, and it's a task force between Dentsu, our agency, and Heineken to drive sustainability, diversity, and inclusion. As a result, both our teams are aligned. So that was very helpful. And I highly recommend everyone to collaborate with your agency partner or with your client and try to be a part of conversation. And also the third pillar probably to that is media owners and partners. So we've picked a few who wanted to be on that journey with us, and we worked closely. Hence why I suppose I'm here with Clear Channel, just to brag about the great work we've done. But to be fair, it's just like-minded organizations. And finally, make sure it lives beyond media. So for us, it's a bit fragmented in the sense that, as I mentioned, supply chain started the journey. It's very easy for business to understand it. When it comes to marketing was a little bit far behind. So in media, we pretty much just started doing things. And only now we start merchandising those things and taking the rest of the business, the journey, showcasing how it can come through. Because if you want to be carbon neutral in the whole value chain, that means we have to have our own targets and we have to start building that roadmap as well.
And Aimee, would you say that Clear Channel's got big sustainability goals for 2023 and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, of course. And I think the thing is, it's just even thinking about the last year, for example, it's not just about looking at the year that we've just had. It goes back a lot further.
Oh, okay.
So it's all about sort of building blocks. So we wouldn't be in the position that we're in now had we not started this journey and continued to build on it. In terms of 2023, I mean, as a business, we'll be working towards our bigger goals to be carbon net zero by 2030 in scope 1 and 2. We've got a few more challenges with scope 3, being a business that has physical infrastructure that lives across towns and cities in the UK. So we'll be looking to be carbon net zero by 2045. But everything we're doing now is building on what we've done and continuing to sort of build on that foundation. And then, we work towards those goals of where we want to get to.
So it's kind of, I think when we discussed it before, it's like small steps are as important as those big KPIs, big goals and changes. And for the cyclists in the room, maybe marginal gains, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I love that you've referenced cycling, thank you.
Yeah. It's unrealistic to set big goals and then not knowing how to get there. Because right now, as you guys mentioned, we're very much hitting the point where we actually need to start committing to some goals when it comes to media. And we've done, first time ever, basically analysis with Dentsu on how much carbon we're generating in our campaigns. Of course it depends on channel, of course it depends on the budget, but my ambition was to set targets. Say, okay, well, for the next 5 years, how do we need to reduce CO2 to actually get to the point that we are neutral? And we are, to some extent, hitting the brick walls a little bit, because we all should be thinking about it, but now we get to a situation where the whole industry, we are depending on the whole industry, not on what we can do as a business. So the measurement approach isn't consistent. The partners need to be more aligned, so it's important for the whole industry to come together. So when sustainable offering becomes not a luxury, when sustainable offering becomes a part of the media choices, because we don't have endless budgets, because there will be always that challenge, as earlier mentioned, between profit and sustainability as well. Yeah, we want to do good for both. So for that, I think the whole industry needs to join, and then we should be able to actually start setting the realistic targets and moving towards those, because it's time to connect us as advertisers, so agencies separately just can't really get there.
Without that collaboration, none of that's possible.
Yeah, just kind of following on your question and Olya's points, I think there's a couple of kind of key learnings that we've gone through, which is, I mentioned the kind of building blocks that is really important to kind of continue in your journey. And, we've had examples. So, we're an out-of-home business. We've got sites up and down the country that use electricity, for example. Obviously, we have our depots, we have our offices. And we've really had to think about, yes, of course, we're going to buy 100% green energy, renewable energy. That for us was a given as a business. But it's looking beyond that and building on that. So, for example, how do we reduce the amount of energy that we're using and looking at those wins within that space? And I think the other thing as well is it's okay for some of these bigger projects that you're working on. So, we've got projects that involve a huge amount of R&D that take years. And one of the projects that I'm incredibly proud of our business for achieving is, we're effectively an infrastructure business as well as a advertising business. And, we've got these shelters that use only recycled elements to them. So the seats that you have in a bus shelter now, we've managed to get it to a point where they only use upcycled plastic bottles, which is carbon negative, and then have elements of aluminium in there that's fully recycled, which reduces our emissions. So I kind of think there's two areas to it. The building blocks are incredibly important, and then you've kind of got these bigger projects that take the time, but if you think about what that impact is over a series of years ahead, it's huge.
And I think we're coming to the end of our time. If I could just get a time check, that would be great. 5 minutes left? All right.
We can speak about this for hours.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then, so in terms of, can you look further beyond, like, say this time next year, where would you want Heineken and Clear Channel to be in terms of on their sustainability journey?
It's a good question. I think what we are working with right now, to be fair, I would like us to make sure that we apply, we are working sustainability principles for our media planning and buying. So I'd like all of those to see coming through in every plan that we have, from media standpoint. And that's for me basics. I would like us to have great progress on the technical side. So the biggest driver of CO2 in our campaigns is digital and VOD. And that's due to the file sizes, creative. And I would like us as a business, and broadly speaking, to see more collaborations between vendors, creative, and advertisers on solving this out, because in some cases it can reduce CO2 by 40% straight away.
The AOP did something with file sizes and
exactly,
and
yeah.
things.
Shorter assets, file sizing, straight away without ROI impact, you're driving great outcomes for the planet. So I think that's important, the collaboration. And as a Heineken business, I do want us to see sustainability brought to life in our business even more, because I think we talk about authenticity, greenwashing, etc. I just deliberately asked not to even put greenwashing into titles, because I think everyone needs to think about it, but there is enough kind of legal right and real right for us to talk. I'm very proud that we have sustainable brands like Inches, hence why Clear Channel collaboration, where we do great stuff like out-of-home ads that are recycled into tote bags that are actually reducing pollution, etc. But I want to make sure that every person in our marketing department and every brand team thinks about sustainability when they look at their campaigns, not just media plans, and they think about how they're going to come through in different levels. Inches and Heineken will have different approach. I'd love to see everyone making sure most of our out-of-home is sustainable. Yeah, most of our assets are basically optimized to best sustainability. So that's the thing where I'd like to be.
And I think maybe reframing the conversation and seeing sustainability as an opportunity rather than a sacrifice is maybe something that can be explored more. Aimee, where would Clear Channel like to be this time next year?
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously got our own internal sort of progress that we're making, but I think from an external perspective and how we work with the likes of Heineken, we've got a lot of brands really leaning in, which is fantastic. And I massively agree with the point on collaboration, because I think that's incredibly important, and that's how we make steps forward. And working with more brands, so collaborating with more brands in this space, because we can learn a lot, on both sides. And actually, we example, working with Heineken, did we have all the answers at the time to deliver what they wanted? No. But did we go out and actively look for solutions? Yes. And share those solutions across industries, and not keeping it contained to us. It's not about a competitive advantage. It's actually, if you can unlock something that's going to be of benefit, to people, communities, planet, then why wouldn't you? So more collaboration to really sort of drive forward in this space.
And I suppose maybe our last question, if you could just distill from how much you've learned together about sustainability in media and advertising, what's one piece of advice you'd give to people in this room to kind of get started if maybe they haven't kind of considered sustainability as much as you guys have?
Aimee, you want to start? I'll be starting over.
That's very kind of you, thank you. I would say truly understand what your role is and where the importance is for you to be concentrating on. So from a Clear Channel perspective or an entire out-of-home industry perspective, we are very different to any other media channel. We have physical assets. You know, we are that infrastructure business as well as advertising, which I mentioned before, which that comes with its own challenges. But by focusing in and understanding our business and understanding where the opportunities are, you know, we know, for example, that a lot of our carbon emissions come from us servicing public essential utility. So that gives us an area to really kind of hone in on. So I'd say, yeah, really dialing into what are the important areas for you as a business and what you can do.
Thanks, Aimee. Olya?
I think you mentioned mindset. Very important. I'm not sure everyone struggles with the mindset of profitability or not, but that ability to bring sustainability into conversation in the right way is important, and often media is overlooked because media it's even a smaller part of the marketing and even a smaller part of the business when you think about the whole supply chain that has 150% inflation versus what we do, and we're seeing the growth in the market, happy days. But media can drive conversation. That's what I've learned, at least outside of production, within the marketing. And I would recommend every media leader to do that and be the driver, because this not just helps you, like that just helps planet and do good, also brings media into marketing conversation and into broader business conversation, because people don't realize how much we impact sustainability. And it's amazing how it changes their mind. So talk about it and bring it to the business more often.
Okay. Well, thank you both. And yes, I'm sure you're around for questions later if anyone wants to pick your brains.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Super, thank you.